You know, the compact hatchback world is full of familiar names: Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, Volkswagen Golf, but there's always been one car that feels a little different, the Mazda 3. And now, with the 2025 model year update, the Mazda 3 hatchback wants to prove it's more than just another daily driver.
Here's the thing, most compact cars try to be practical first, fun second, but Mazda has always flipped that formula, giving you something that feels closer to a baby luxury car or even an affordable sports hatch. With the 2025 version, Mazda hasn't gone radical, but they've made small refinements that keep it looking premium, driving sharp, and feeling special in a class that often plays it safe. In today's video, I'm breaking down everything about the 2025 Mazda 3 hatchback: the exterior design, the interior quality, the driving feel, the tech, the pricing, and whether it still stands out against cars like the Civic, Corolla, and even the new Hyundai Elantra N-Line. This isn't a sponsored video. It's just my honest opinion as someone who's always had a soft spot for cars that actually make driving fun. So let's see if the Mazda 3 Hatchback 2025 still deserves that reputation.
The first thing that hits you about the Mazda 3 Hatchback 2025 is how good it looks. I'll be blunt. This is probably the best looking car in its segment, maybe even punching above its class. The Kodo design language still works beautifully. It's sleek, curvy, almost minimalist, but with enough muscle around the fenders to give it presence. The hatchback proportions in particular just feel right. The long hood, the short overhangs, the aggressive rear haunches they make, the Mazda 3 look more like a luxury coupe than a compact hatch. In soul red crystal, it looks stunning. It's the kind of car people turn their heads for, even though it's just a Mazda. For 2025, Mazda hasn't reinvented the wheel here. The updates are subtle: revised headlights with sharper LED signatures, a slightly more modernized grille, and new wheel designs. Some people might complain it hasn't changed much, but honestly, when you already have one of the best-looking compact cars on the market, why mess with it? Compared to something like a Toyota Corolla hatch or a Honda Civic, the Mazda 3 just oozes sophistication. It feels like it belongs in a higher price bracket, and that's a theme you'll notice throughout this review. Step inside the Mazda 3 Hatchback 2025, and you'll notice something very uncompact hatchback about it. It actually feels premium. I'm not exaggerating when I say Mazda's interiors often feel like entry-level luxury. The materials are soft touch in all the right places. The leather feels upscale if you spec the higher trims, and even the layout is minimalist but elegant. The 2025 update gives you slightly better trim finishes. Mazda has cleaned up the infotainment system graphics, and depending on the trim, you get subtle stitching details and improved seat materials. It's not a huge leap, but again, refinement is the name of the game here. Space-wise, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The front seats are comfortable, supportive, and feel sporty without being punishing, but the back seats still tight. If you regularly carry adults in the back, you're going to hear some complaints about legroom. Cargo space is also smaller compared to rivals like the Civic Hatchback or Golf. But honestly, the interior ambiance is where the Mazda 3 shines. Everything you touch feels considered, the driving position is spot on, and when you sit inside, you feel like you're in something special, not just another economy hatchback. Now, here's where the Mazda 3 Hatchback 2025 continues to separate itself from the pack. A lot of compact cars are fine to drive, but few are genuinely enjoyable. The Mazda 3, even without being a hot hatch, nails the fundamentals of driving engagement. The 2025 model keeps the familiar engine lineup, a naturally aspirated 2.5-litre four-cylinder, and if you step up, the turbocharged 2.5-litre. The base engine is adequate. It's not going to thrill you, but it's smooth and predictable. The turbo, That's where things get interesting. With up to 250 horsepower on premium fuel, it transforms the Mazda 3 into a genuinely quick car, capable of keeping up with entry-level hot hatches like the VW GTI. But the real magic isn't just the numbers, it's how the car feels. The steering is precise, the chassis feels balanced, and Mazda tunes their suspension to give you actual feedback through the wheel. In a world of numb economy cars, the Mazda 3 feels alive. It's not perfect, the ride can be firm on rough roads, and the optional all-wheel drive system adds weight. But if you care about driving dynamics, the Mazda 3 hatchback is still the driver's choice in this segment. When it comes to tech, the Mazda 3 Hatchback 2025 does just enough to stay competitive. You won't find the massive tablet-style screens of some rivals, and that's either a positive or a negative, depending on what you want. Personally, I like that Mazda keeps things simple. The infotainment system is an 8.8-inch display that's not touchscreen. You use a rotary controller instead. Some people hate it, but I think it keeps your hands and eyes more focused on driving. For 2025, the graphics are sharper, and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard. That alone fixes one of my biggest complaints with the older models. Driver assistance features are here too: adaptive cruise, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, and automatic emergency braking. Mazda doesn't overload you with gimmicks, but the essentials are covered. One downside, if you're someone who wants cutting-edge tech like augmented reality HUDs or giant curved OLED screens like in a BMW i4, you won't find that here. Mazda's approach is more restrained, solid, functional, but not flashy. And honestly, that matches the character of the car. The Mazda 3 hatchback is about balance, enough tech to feel modern, but not so much it distracts you from the joy of driving. Pricing. For the 2025 Mazda 3, hatchback starts around the mid-20,000s in the US and can climb into the mid-30,000s if you go for the turbo with all-wheel drive and premium trims. That's not cheap for a compact hatchback, but here's the thing. You're getting a near-luxury experience at that price. The Civic hatchback is cheaper and more spacious. The Corolla hatchback is more affordable and practical. The VW Golf GTI is more performance-focused, but none of them strike the same balance as the Mazda 3. It feels special in a way those cars don't: more stylish, more premium, more connected to the driver. Is it perfect? No. If practicality is your top priority, the tight rear seats and smaller cargo area might frustrate you. If you want maximum horsepower, the Civic Type R and Golf R will leave it behind. But as an everyday car that still makes you smile on a back road, the Mazda 3 Hatchback 2025 holds its own. In fact, I'd say it's one of the most emotional choices in this segment. It's not the logical one, but sometimes cars aren't about logic, they're about how they make you feel, and the Mazda 3 still nails that. So, after spending time with the 2025 Mazda 3 Hatchback, here's my takeaway. It's not the most practical compact car, it's not the cheapest, and it's not the fastest, but it might just be the one that stirs your soul the most. And that, to me, is worth a lot. Mazda continues to march to the beat of its own drum. While other automakers chase massive screens, hybrid powertrains, or just pure efficiency, Mazda focuses on the connection between the car and the driver. And in a segment that can feel a little bland at times, that makes the Mazda 3 stand out. Would I recommend it? If you're single or a couple without a huge need for rear seat space, absolutely. If you want something stylish, fun to drive, and genuinely premium feeling without breaking the bank, the Mazda 3 Hatchback 2025 should be on your list. Now I want to hear from you. Would you pick the Mazda 3 over the Civic, Corolla, or Golf? Do you think it justifies the slightly higher price? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to hear what you think. And of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're into honest car reviews, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Until then, happy driving.